Alright folks, welcome back to the dawn of world sports, and I'm now going to be doing a reaction request from one of our brand new patrons called Nathan Thoms. Thanks very much Nathan for becoming a patron and also for this request for a reaction. It is quite a long video actually, so I hope you'll bear with me and you'll enjoy the video if you haven't seen it before, and you'll like my thoughts and opinion on it. It is a little bit about Zdeno Chara. It's a feature on 60 Minutes Sports Showtime, and the good thing about it is I'm going to learn a little bit more about the player and hopefully the man as well off the ice in this broken down video to 15 minutes. So anyway, as I've said, thanks very much Nathan, and the link to the original video will be in the description section below too. No more talking then, let's go.
6'9", Zdeno Chara is the tallest man ever to play in the National Hockey League.
Tallest man ever.
Known to teammates and fans simply as Z, he's been captain of the Boston Bruins, one of the NHL's most storied teams, for nearly a decade. If you don't follow hockey, you may not have heard of Z. But inside the game, he's revered by fellow players and fans in Boston and feared by everyone else. The Hockey News recently put him on its cover as the scariest man in hockey, citing the blazing speed of his slap shot, the brutal hits he puts on opponents, and his sheer size on the ice.
With his skates on, he's 7 feet tall. He weighs 260 pounds.
Holy fuck. 7 foot tall this gets on.
And plays more minutes per game than much younger teammates.
Oh, look at that bone crunching challenge.
To shut down the
lovely hit.
Team's best player in every game.
Lovely.
Make sure he's very sore when it's over.
Lovely stuff.
He doesn't hesitate to fight when he has to.
He's got such long reach as well.
Players know better than to provoke him.
Chara's telling him, really? You really want to do that? Chara down the boards.
Like, I mean, he's not just huge, he's a massive heavyweight, but he can fight.
Big hits on defense. But he's a very skilled
Look at that, lovely turn. And as they've said, very skilled skater.
His slap shot is feared by goalies.
I believe he has the hardest slap shot
this one
in the NHL.
Of the Rangers,
possibly of all time, I'm not too sure on record.
Z's shot is officially the fastest ever.
There you go.
Measured at the NHL's All-Star Skills Competition at nearly 109 miles an hour.
Wow. Fastest ever recorded slap shot.
Equivalent of a standing ovation from the best players in the game.
That's just insane. Could you imagine getting hit with that?
He's widely considered the best defenseman in the NHL, which makes it hard to imagine that as a kid, Zdeno Chara was told he really ought to find a different sport.
How many times did someone tell you, you just can't play hockey, you're just too tall?
Too many times, but more they were telling me that, more I wanted to prove them wrong.
You fought for it.
I fought really hard for it.
Brilliant, there you go. Don't let anybody tell you can't, children.
He got his fight from his father, who had been an Olympic Greco-Roman wrestler for the country then known as Czechoslovakia.
Yeah.
I was reading about some of the things he did to help you train.
Yeah.
Tell me some of your favorite things.
Oh, I would tell you my not favorite things.
Okay. Those are the ones you remember, right?
Oh my God. We had a pull-up bar set in our garden on a tree. And so every time I walked by, I had to do, a certain amount of pull-ups.
He was pushing you.
He was pushing.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Coaches kept cutting him.
You were actually kicked off a youth team when you were 16 years old. Was that true?
Yeah, it is true. Not once, but 3 times.
3 times?
3 different years, yeah.
He was relegated to the B team, towering over his teammates and using hand-me-down equipment.
I always loved hockey. I just
probably
loved
been an
the
adult
speed of
year
the
then.
game and physicality, and so I knew that hockey was the sport.
He eventually became good enough to be noticed by NHL scouts. The New York Islanders drafted him, the 56th overall pick of the 1996 draft.
He was a project. That's how you look at him.
Z's current boss, Boston Bruins general manager Peter Chiarelli, has followed his career from the beginning.
He was Bambi. He was
definitely Bambi by the look of it.
His limbs are all over the place. You could see, they could see the try in him, but you could also see, wow, I don't know if this guy's gonna come around, but you can see the try.
He's got great determination and desire to, and hard work.
The real elite
Great work ethic, sorry.
Their determination, they're wanting to win every battle, they compete at every level, at every minute, every second, and there's not very many that have that, and he's one of them.
Z's try is evident in his physique.
Look at his body for the size of him as well.
At the beginning of training camp each year, the Bruins put all their players through a battery of tests. It's no surprise that Z wins the vertical jump.
The vertical jump.
Just watch him attack the Bruins.
He's probably touching about 12 foot high.
He needs to be the best at it, and it pushes other players.
How many is that? You'd be lucky if I could get 4.
He's got that much more to pull up, you know, one with the length of
And
his
the
arms
weight.
and his weight, and he tops the group every year, and it's an impressive feat to watch.
Come on, big fella. One more.
Come on now. That's it.
You crushed it again this year, right?
Oh, yeah. I tried.
Quite a humble shot there, guy. Oh yeah, I tried. He smashed everyone.
How many pull-ups did you have this year?
35.
And the nearest guy next to you was what, 31?
33, I think.
33. If he had done 36, would you have done 37?
I would try.
He's been trying from the very beginning. He was just 19 when the Islanders sent him straight from the '96 draft to the Prince George Cougars, a junior team in a remote Canadian timber town. He spent the summer working out and taking odd jobs.
What were the jobs you had over the summer?
I was one job was the car dealership. I was working.
There's nothing wrong with that.
You were working
Learning an honest day's earning an honest day's pay.
I was the best at washing the roofs.
Car washing. Someday you've got to start somewhere in life.
Z was appreciated for more than just his height.
That's like a league where people really like to kind of get scrappy and fight, and here you are thrown into that. What was that like as a young hockey player?
Yeah, I was ready for that. I did a lot of training, and obviously my dad prepared me for that. He said, if you ever want to play in North America, you have to be ready to drop your gloves and stand up for yourself and defend
Don't be
yourself and
bullied.
your teammates. Like right away, I think
By those rough Canadians and Americans over there.
Games, I got scrapping every game, and I had to kind of earn my reputation.
Put the gloves down and let's roll.
He earned it all right. In fights like this
Wow.
against a player named Tony Mohegan of the
He's
Seattle
absolutely battered him there. And he looks
Did people
dazed.
assume just based on the size of you that you were going to be a guy out there fighting all the time?
I guess, but I knew that that's not what I wanted to do. The only thing I wanted to do. I didn't want to be just doing the
Wanted to
And
play.
he hasn't.
Chara moves in deep, and he scores!
But over his 17-year NHL career, first with the Islanders, then the Ottawa Senators, and for the last 9 years as captain of the Bruins,
9 years smashing people at the
some of
Bruins.
his scraps have become legendary.
It's the reach of the man. You
When
can't
he
get
was
near
playing
him.
for Ottawa, he was fighting Brian McCabe. You know, Brian McCabe's a big guy. He's like maybe 6'3", 220, and Z was like ragdolling him. He had like it was like he had a doll in his hand. He was.
That is
It's like, he doesn't
insane.
hurt people. It's just that he's big and strong and powerful.
There's not a lot of players at his caliber that are tough like him.
In deep slot, Recchi, score!
Over a 22-year NHL career, Mark Recchi played both with Z and against him. He still remembers their one and only fight.
We got in a little bit of a tiff, and I tried to punch him, and I wasn't even close. And he had his glove on, and he popped me, and I saw stars, and I went, oh, just kind of turned around and went the other way. It was like, that's enough.
Only takes one punch to realise you've bit off more than you can chew.
A powerful hit Chara delivered on the Montreal Canadiens' Max Pacioretty in 2011 may be his most infamous. Pacioretty's head hit a stanchion near the team's bench. and he suffered a severe
yeah,
and a broken vertebra.
bastard! That was completely accidental. Yes, he's trying to hit him, but he did not want to hurt him there. Wow!
Z's reputation took a hit.
While people might have thought that he purposely...
He never... I could see that straight away. He never meant that.
I've seen that play 1,000 times.
Nobody's trying to do that to someone. Come on.
Hit the stanchion, sometimes they don't. It just turned out that he did it that time.
Just so unlucky.
And I know Z felt bad about it, but that's the way he plays.
That's hockey.
The way he plays earned him that scariest man in hockey reputation.
Scary because of sheer size.
That's terrible.
Not down to the fact that he's mean.
To reconcile with the man we met.
So nice.
He's polite and reserved.
Okay, watch out the car.
He speaks 7 languages and has a degree in finance.
An intelligent man.
Does it bother you that people call you the scariest man?
Maybe a little bit, because they have to understand it's a job you have to do on the ice. It's not like I'm trying to be scary or I'm trying to be mean or kind of get on the cover.
I think scary is a little unfair because
kind of agree with that.
One of the cleanest players, I think, out there for the
media have to label everything though, don't they?
Why do people find him scary? If he's a clean player, how can he be a scary player?
Because he hits hard, he squeezes.
He's just a big brute of a man.
Strong as an ox.
Playing against him, what was that like?
Miserable. Miserable. You know, you whack you,
miserable.
Check you.
It was terrible.
A game, and
battered and bruised after.
You knew you were going to get crunched. When your guy plays heavy like that, I mean, there's guys that are good hitters, but he leans on you throughout.
He's so tall and imposing.
That's just wears you out.
I don't think people truly recognize or realize how impactful he is as a defender, reach-wise and skating-wise.
Very good point. Reach-wise on the ice defending.
Half of the defensive zone.
Half.
Like on the worst of days.
Z skates with a stick that's longer than anyone else's. The NHL had to issue a waiver to allow it. That gives him great reach.
Wow, I suppose with the length of his arm, and the stick, and how far he can lean now, can tackle at such a greater distance.
Because a lot of the players are, 5, 6, 7 inches, a foot shorter than him, and if we get low, it can be real hard for him.
It took Chara establishing himself in the NHL before hockey coaches back in Slovakia finally took notice.
So they really didn't
coach of the national team called me,
see him as a hockey player at all, and the Czech Republic.
National team. So I made the NHL before I made the national team. That was the very first time I actually played for.
That's
my
crazy.
country. And
these are the same people who wanted you in the B squad, right?
Yeah.
Since then, Z has played on 3 Slovak Olympic teams and carried
there you go now.
flag in
They're
Sochi.
begging him now.
He
Come
won
on,
the
Z.
Norris Trophy as the NHL's best defenseman in 2009.
Wow.
And he didn't win the hardest slap shot competition just once, but 5
Fuck
times.
me. 5 times. There's some serious power in this big man.
In 2011, Chara powered the Bruins to the Stanley Cup. Their first in nearly 40 years.
Wow.
By then, he and Mark Recchi were teammates.
It was awesome to see him get that, being the captain.
He was the captain of the team. The first team for the Bruins to win it in 40 years, and he captained them. Brilliant. And he's about the only guy that makes that trophy look small in the NHL as well. The rest of them, it's massive.
Why do you think he was able to fit in so well here into what Boston hockey is?
Because they like a tough style of hockey.
Ultimately, the Boston hockey fans are knowledgeable and they see how truly good a player he is. It's his willingness to compete, and they see that, and they really appreciate that.
Boston fans also appreciate that Z doesn't act like a $7 million a year sports superstar.
Hey, Jim.
When the weather's warm, he rides his bike to work at TD Garden.
As I said, he comes across as a very humble, shy and retiring sort of guy.
Freight elevator with everyone
Just normal guy.
It doesn't
Just
smell
made
bad at all.
Smells awesome.
At Mike's Pastry,
A good life for himself.
He's welcomed behind the counter.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you too. And in the back room.
How are you? Good, how are you?
Where the walls are papered not just with his hockey shots, but snapshots of his
Oh, look at that, that's lovely.
wife Tatiana and daughter Elise.
You got a nice place they can take their family and just be normal. It's really nice to see.
He doesn't eat nothing.
Give me the mini one.
Give me the mini one. What's the mini one about that size?
He agreed to eat one mini cannoli.
Cheers.
Cheers. I got the big one. What's wrong with it?
But only to be polite.
Oh.
He obviously doesn't eat food like that.
Right?
No.
You don't really have caffeine, right?
No.
You don't really eat dessert.
Sometimes.
Sounds like you're a monk.
No.
He's got to work hard
Is
to
impressive.
remain in the shape that he's in.
Off-season, he practically lives in the gym,
Wow.
working out 2 or 3 times a day, 7 days a week. During the season, he'll play a full game, then work out for another 2 hours.
Dedication.
All that work has made him very durable. Until a knee injury sidelined him for several weeks this fall, Z had never missed more than a few games in any season.
You have 4 years to go in your contract. You'll be 41. Is that going to be it for you at the end of that contract?
I hope not.
Not a lot of guys play well into their 40s, though.
Not a lot, but there have been some guys who were very, very effective in their 40s, and I feel that you always have something to prove.
He's one of the
Determination.
proudest athletes I've ever met, and I think he loves proving
Dedication.
people wrong, which he doesn't have to do anymore, but I think that's still in his makeup.
And he enjoys being the underdog. Do you feel it?
Yeah, which is a little odd. Here's this 6'9", 260, 4% body fat athlete who's an underdog. So, yeah, let's just let him have that. He's not an underdog. Let's let him have that.
Let him think he is, right?
Size of him going through that door. Well, that's the end of the video, and wow, I really enjoyed that. It just goes to show, from when he started in his own country, they never believed him. Nobody backed him to be a hockey player. They're like, give up the dream, mate. You're too big for a start. You're not a great skater, etc, etc. And because of those people saying you can't, that has been the fuel and the driving force behind his determination and desire to prove them wrong and become not only a hockey player, but a captain of a Stanley Cup winning team with the hardest slap shot for 5 years in a row in the NHL. He can fight, he can play, he's got one of the biggest hits you've ever seen in the game, incredible. But better than that, you've got to see a little bit of an insight into the man himself. As I said, very shy and retiring. Obviously dedicated. You've seen that through his appetite, what he eats. He doesn't put junk into his body. He eats good stuff. He drinks the right way. He works hard on and off the ice to maintain his physique so he can compete at the very highest level in the game. But as I've said, more that I like to take away from that is off the field. He's very humble. Look, I showed you him. He's cycling to his work. He's mingling with normal people. He's saying hello. He's got good manners. Obviously, when he first went over to North America, he's got a job washing cars in some car sales place. So he's worked his way up to a level where he can quite rightly say, like, I've made it. But I don't think those words would really ever come out of his mouth. He's going to a little cafe, a little humble cafe where he takes his family, where it looks like a really nice place, family orientated place that he can relax and be himself with real people. And I just think he comes across as one of the nicest people that you're probably going to meet in the sport. But when he's on the ice, wow, he can battle with the best of them. You've seen it. I can't remember the name of the fighter for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He had the 6'3", 220 pounds. He's throwing him around like an empty tracksuit. No problem at all. Such an imposing and commanding figure. He leans on you. The defensive advantage that he has through the reach. He's already tall. But what they were saying, guys are about a foot smaller than him. So you can imagine trying to defend. He's going to be putting a lot of strain on his lower back, leaning over. It's going to be very difficult for him. So the NHL has allowed a longer stick, and with that longer stick and the reach of the arms and the lean, he's defending like half an area on his own, which is insane. But do you know what? It's absolutely brilliant to see the fairy tale story of somebody saying you can't, him defying the odds, and I hope he can play past 41. He's contracted with the Bruins till 41 years old, and he believes with the right training and health goes his way, and if he's still able to physically do it, that he can do it As long as people believe in him, he believes he can do it. So I wish him the best of luck. It's somebody that I've covered on the channel now a couple of times, I think. And you know what, that just makes me like him even more, down to his personality, but also his determination. If any kids watch this video or the video of him without me reacting, take one thing away from it. If somebody says you can't, use that as a positive. Don't listen to them. What people say does not matter. Don't let what people say affect you and the way you want to live your life. And if you are going to listen to them, turn their negative into a positive and prove them wrong. And see, when you've proved them wrong, go around and tell them, I told you so. I knew I could do it. Don't let other people define you. You define you. And he's a classic example of how to do that. Somebody at 7 foot on skates on the ice. Wow, it's an incredible story, and it's one that I've really enjoyed watching. Last message here is again to thank our brand new patron Nathan Thoms. I really do appreciate your support. It really does mean a lot. I hope you've enjoyed the video and me reacting to it, mate. And anybody else who's looking to get personalised messages and requests for me to react to, do check out Patreon. That's the best way to do it. Become a patron, message me through that. I'll give you a shout out and I'll do a reaction to the video if I can do it. Whether I'm able to download it or not, I'll do it for you as best I can. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. There's going to be loads of hockey reactions to come and loads of other things as well. If you've got anything you'd like to see me reacting to as well, without a shout out now, you can get that through the comment section below. Hit me up there and I'll check it out. Also in the description section below, the link to the original video, our social media platforms, the Patreon, and our merchandise, link to the merchandise as well. I'm selling TDC hoodies. That's the Don's channel, my main channel. You can get that there also. Thanks very much, everyone, and Nathan. All the best, and I'll see you all soon. Goodbye.